Hey free-to-play gang, welcome back to another video. So today is going to be a slight twist. We are not actually going to do any holo battles on screen for this video, okay? But instead, I want to talk to you a little bit more about my defensive formation. I'm not going to talk about the one on the right because this is an obvious speed cleave. Everyone understands how this works, but I want to focus more on the one on the left. Now this team, it is very unassuming just by looking at it, right? So yeah, just pause the video here, give yourself like, I don't know, 1 minute to think about a way that you can counter me, and then let me tell you a little bit more about why that may not work. Okay, so there are a few ways to counter this team, and I do know exactly what these teams are, but the reason why this is so strong is because, you know, if you're looking at this team, there is only one DPS Esper, and that's Jiangman, and she is debuff focused, right? So what are you going to bring to a team that has Jiangman? Obviously, you're going to bring immunity, obviously, you're going to bring cleansers. Now, I have a Tricky here. That doesn't work anymore, right? So number one, if you cleanse, you're going to get hit by Tricky's passive who deals like 30% of your max HP, right over here. There you go, 30% of your current HP. My apologies on that. And not only that, Tricky can also strip buffs, which means that even if you have immunity buffs, it is gone. Well, hopefully it is gone, right? That's the ideal situation. So no, you cannot bring cleansers against my Jiangman, and no, you cannot bring immunity. It's not very efficient. So then what else can you bring? You may consider, you know, just bringing like raw DPS, right, to damage me down and all that. But the thing is, my entire team is very tanky. So for example, take a look at my Jiangman. She has quite a lot of HP, right? She has almost 26,000 HP, so she is not possibly going to be countered by a lot of the DPS Espers, and especially not Inferno type DPS Espers, right? Because of her typing. So because she's a flow type, she is quite invulnerable against enemy Chloe's, against enemy Liling and all that. So her typing itself makes her very tanky. Well, obviously until the new Espers come around, right? Now furthermore, you may consider, you know, stun locking my team, but the thing is, I have a Clara who is just going to be able to cleanse everything. So it's not so possible that you can use a debuffing method to deal with my team, right? Anyway, I've used this team since the 27th of June, which is basically about 2 weeks ago, right? So I've been using this team for about 2 weeks now, and the results are pretty insane. So I have a victory here, victory here. Okay, we're just gonna take a look at the first round. Okay, victory here, victory here, victory here, another win, win, win. It's basically a 100% win. Now the thing is, some of you guys might be saying, yeah, because of my relics, right? But the thing is, don't forget that we are in a beta server where everyone is not a new player. And the thing is, these guys, they all have crowns. So that means that they are basically from like the top 10% clubs. And a lot of the players who are like really strong in this game, they don't necessarily do point war. So I think the point war tier is also not a very good gauge for that, right? So without further ado, let's take a look at why this team is so strong, right? So let's take a look at just the first rounds. So this team, yes, they brought immunity and they brought cleansing as well. That's the thing, right? You don't actually understand what's coming after you by just taking a look at my team. So a lot of people are more focused on, oh, okay, so there's a Clara, okay, there's a Tricky, okay, very typical, right? It just doesn't click in their head that they shouldn't be bringing cleansers. But they take a look at Jiangman and they're like, oh, it's just a debuffing Esper, then I will bring immunity, and on top of that, I'll bring more cleansers, right? That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me as well, and I think I would be a victim of my own my own design as well. So now the problem here is whenever the Clara tries to cleanse anything, when she uses her normal attack, when she uses her third skill, she's gonna lose a lot of HP, right? Because of my Tricky. And that directs my Jiangman to attack her even more, because now she's low on HP and obviously her typing, right? But the thing is, I would have gone for the Liling, right? My AI might have gone for the Liling, but now because you're losing so much HP so fast, my Jiangman is just going to keep attacking you. And take a look at this, right? She uses her third skill, and that's it. So this is a super solid lockdown. And the thing is, when the Nether Bloom explodes, it also silences. So that's something that a lot of people don't really remember. It silences, and that means that for the next 2 turns, you will not be able to use any of your skills except for your first skill. So in that situation, Gabrielle is just completely rendered useless, right? She cannot use her second skill anymore, she cannot use her third skill anymore. Her first skill is like she's basically like a DPS Esper right now who doesn't do a lot of DPS. At this point, right, I have no idea why he even continued. When your Clara is so low on HP, that's the time when you just quit. You don't want to waste your Espers, especially when you still have another 3 more attempts, right? Or rather, you still have another 2 more attempts. You don't want to be wasting your Espers like that. So we're going to take a look at the next fight. Zorlds. Okay, so let's see how this runs. So again, another immunity buffer, right? Which makes sense. I cannot fault him for that. This makes a lot of sense. But the thing is, here comes Revolver. Shit. Everything. Everything. And that's it. Like, so here's the problem. Yeah, you can bring immunity, but if you're banking on the fact that my Tricky is not going to strip anything, and you must also understand that I have nothing to lose. I am a defense squad, right? This team is on the defense. So what if you kill one of my Espers? Nothing happens. The thing is, if you lose to me, that's it. I don't lose anything, right? So that's where the catch is in Holobattle. Like, even if you take out one of my Espers, it doesn't mean anything because it doesn't make it easier for the next person to come and attack me. So you shouldn't go YOLO in that sense that relying on Gabriel to not be stripped. If your Gabriel is stripped, that's it. You gambled everything on that. And now the thing is, another situation where you should have given up before you continue, right? Because you really lost your Gabriel, it's game over, man. You have nothing to come back from here, right? And especially, you don't want to lose your Lincel. She is too precious for Holobattle, man. This is generally like bad play. I think he probably ran on auto or something like that, but he shouldn't have done that. Now, moving on to Newgate. So this is actually one player who was able to outspeed me, so that's how he beat my second team. But for the first team here, so he also has another cleanser. Look, I told you, right, Sally? So that's exactly what people are generally going to bring. So she's going to be a huge victim to my Jiangman, right? How you see, whenever they take a turn and they get cleansed... Oh, okay, she used her second skill first. But if she used her third skill though, and whenever they take a turn, she's just going to lose 30%, 30%, 30%. It is quite hilarious. But yeah, if you do not have immunity, right, your Sally is just going to keep losing HP. And that's the problem as well. Like, if you do not have immunity, then, you know, you're going to keep losing HP because you cleanse. But at the same time, if you have immunity, you can get stripped, which is like, oh no, then what can I do? So I feel like the best way to counter me, I'm not even sure why I'm revealing this information, but the best way to counter me is to use, well, I guess not a lot of people have Unas. Yeah, I guess. So Unas is definitely one way to counter me because you're capable of recovering your immunity buff very often. And yes, it doesn't last very long, it only lasts for one turn, but generally that could be good enough in a lot of situations, right? That one turn of immunity buff can be quite good. Apart from Unas, you can also use Hide. Hide is an extremely strong counter against this entire team. Like, Hide is unstoppable against this team. So Hide is definitely going to be one of that. I have discussed a little bit with my clubmates and we have thought about ways to defeat me. But yeah, till date, I still have not found a very strong way, a very strong free-to-play way to counter this team. And yes, my team is definitely not free-to-play as well because of the Clara here and the Tricky here. But then again, you know, this is Holobattle. It's about using the right Espers, right? Oh, that's pretty smart though, what he did over there, bringing Luoyan to try to reduce my max HP cap. But the thing is, it didn't work on my Clara and Tricky, which is very unfortunate because that would have been quite powerful for his Louis, right? His Louis would be able to... There you go. The Louis took out my Jiangman. That's the threat gone immediately. But now the problem is, can you outlast my Tricky and my Clara, right? Until the end, I don't think you can necessarily outlast these two Espers who are super tanky. They have a lot of cleansing, they have a lot of stripping, they have a lot of debuffs, a lot of stuns, dude. Tricky has a lot of stuns. There you go, stun. Just like that. Another stun. Oh wow. Oh. Can I counter? Oh, I didn't manage to counter. But I'm quite surprised that I actually came out with something that is quite good. I will say this is quite good. So yeah, let me know down in the comments how you counter me. I'm very interested to know where my weaknesses are and how else I can play around it. And okay, obviously a Tricky will be a very good counter against me as well because I have a Clara, right? So as long as you bring a Tricky, you can definitely counter my Clara, and that, you know, as long as you get rid of my main healer, then that's it. Eventually my Espers will not be able to keep up, and that's basically it. So yeah, a Tricky, Hide, and a Unas can definitely counter me very well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Dislyte content. Now this has been Daddy Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.